Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For today's ceremony, for guests requiring accessibility support or a transcript of today's announcements, please visit the Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego website at mcrdsd.marines.mil. Navigate to the graduation schedule page and access audience guides available in both English and Spanish. Para los invitados que no hablan inglés, hay guiones en español disponibles en el sitio web mcrdsd.marines.mil. Thank you. Spiritual development plays an important part in the making of a United States Marine. Lieutenant Kai Chur, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, will deliver the graduation prayer. Will the guests please rise?
Let us pray. Let us pray. Gracious and eternal God, we thank you for all the dedication and the sacrifice that have brought us to this very moment. Today we ask your blessings upon the new graduates of the Lima Company, the Marines who have chosen to follow in the footsteps of Chastity Polar, Angela Salinas, and every noble man and woman who has worn the uniform of the Corps. As these Marines move forward in service and in life, may your spirit grant them wisdom, courage, and a profound sense of purpose. Inspire them to live by the values that define us, and help them to remain always faithful to you and to our beloved nation. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Take your boat. Hey, sir.
The Commanding General of Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego welcomes you to what is a historic event in the life of all Marines, their graduation from recruit training. Approximately 40 weeks each year for the past 100 years, new Marines have departed San Diego for service with units of the Marine Corps around the globe. The primary mission of the Recruit Depot is to provide basic training to recruits enlisted west of the Mississippi River, which represents approximately 51% of all applicants in the Marine Corps each year. The depot is also home to Recruiter School and Drill Instructor School. All of our efforts here are geared toward one end: producing America's finest fighting force, the United States Marine Corps. This morning, Lima Company, 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, will form and march in the parade. Following the pass and review, the graduating Marines will return front and center of the reviewing stand for final dismissal. The staff for today's parade is comprised of Marines from the Recruit Training Regiment. The commander of troops is First Sergeant Timothy Marlowe, and the parade adjutant is Sergeant Mirka Soriano Romero. Marching in today's parade are 502 of the graduating Marines from Lima Company. Among the 502 Marines are 2 Marines who displayed outstanding performances in 2 individually graded events. Private Blake David from Platoon 3247 is the company high shooter, scoring a 238 out of 250. Private Hallie David Jr. from Platoon 3247 is the most physically fit Marine, scoring a 300 out of 300 on the physical fitness test and a 300 out of 300 on the combat fitness test. They will be receiving awards from the Marine Corps Association and Foundation. The recruiter for today's company undergraduate is Sergeant Jackery Calloway. Also present today is the primary marksmanship instructor with the highest platoon shooting average, Corporal Nathan Egan, whose platoon qualified with a shooting average of 299 out of 350. Recruit training is comprised of subjects which produce basic Marines that function effectively in garrison, are trained in rudimentary individual field and combat skills, and practice the personal and professional traits which distinguish them as Marines. Examples of these traits are discipline, which is the achievement of self-control and self-awareness, which assures respect for authority, instant and willing obedience to orders, and the self-reliance to maintain or improve those traits which exemplify a Marine. Military bearing, meaning to consistently demonstrate military presence and personal awareness, as well as properly wear and maintain one's uniforms. And esprit de corps, which is acquiring the common spirit of the Marine Corps, which inspires enthusiasm, pride, teamwork, aggressiveness, camaraderie, and the burning desire to work with and for others toward excellence in common goals. For 250 years, Marines have fought and won whenever and wherever the nation calls, in the harshest conditions, over the most brutal terrain, and against the most formidable enemies. Marines defend the ideals of freedom with grit and tenacity. Marines today remain in combat, forward deployed throughout the world, confronting every challenge with courage, loyalty, and faithfulness. They are resolved to be the most ready when the nation is least ready, to defend freedom anytime and anywhere, to stand ready to aid those devastated by natural disasters, to pay tribute to those who have forged our proud legacy, and to honor the families and loved ones who faithfully stand beside us. For the Marines of Lima Company, today marks the end of their 13-week recruit training cycle. Thanks to an intensive physical training program, their strength and endurance have doubled since their arrival aboard the depot. They have marched countless miles at Camp Pendleton, as well as on this very parade deck. Like all Marines, they have been trained as basic riflemen. With their transformation complete, they are Marines, qualified to take their places in the ranks of the world's finest fighting organization. The platoons are now being aligned from left to right in order to get them into their exact positions for the parade. The next portion of the ceremony will be our national anthem. We welcome veterans and members of the armed forces to join us in rendering appropriate honors with a military salute. For guests that have not served in the military, it is proper etiquette during the national anthem to place their right hands over their hearts, and for those in the audience wearing headgear to remove it. Will the guests please rise for the presentation of the colors? Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. At the command, post the colors. The color guard moves into position within the parade. This signifies that the entirety of the parade has been formed and is ready to be presented to the command. Following the command, parade rest. The parade adjutant will give the command sound off. which signals the band to parade forward of the assembled Marines while playing military marching music. The parade adjutant now presents the assembled command to the commander of troops. At the command, officers center march. All unit commanders and guidon bearers march to the front and center of the formation. Historically, it was at this point that commanding officers would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Following this, the unit leaders would face about, return to their units, and pass the information along to their Marines. Throughout our nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. Many who have helped shape our history join us here today. In keeping with the tradition of once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. At this time, those in the audience who have served as Marines, please rise. A round of applause for their dedicated service to Corps and country. Thank you. Please be seated. And now, please welcome the battalion commander for 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Stephen J. Greenberg.
Hey, good morning, ladies, gentlemen, family and friends, distinguished guests. On behalf of the Commanding General of Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego in the Western Recruiting Region, Brigadier General David Hyman, and the Commanding Officer of the Recruit Training Regiment, Colonel Tracy Maese, I'd like to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for Company L. It's also my distinct pleasure to introduce to you today's parade reviewing official, Sergeant Major James Harkins Jr., whose impressive biography you'll hear momentarily. Sergeant Major, it's an honor to have you with us here. Now, before I go ahead and I talk about these incredible young Marines standing in formation behind me, what I'd first like to do is acknowledge a couple people who ensured their success. The first are those individuals you see wearing the distinctive green campaign covers, our legendary Marine Corps drill instructors. Ever since these Marines arrived here, there's been a drill instructor with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, everywhere that they have gone. And the drill instructors of Company L have been the critical element in their transformation from civilian into a Marine. The impact that they've had on each one of them, both professionally and personally, will be as everlasting as the title that they've earned since being here. In supporting those drill instructors and the officers of Company L have been their families. No one, absolutely no one knows better the time, energy, and sacrifice it takes to make a Marine better than those families. And while the drill instructors and the officers have remained focused on the mission, their families have had to pick up additional roles and responsibilities at home. So please join me in a round of applause for the officers, the drill instructors, and the families of Company L. Now, every Marine's journey begins at a recruiting station. And although he couldn't be here today, I want to acknowledge one recruiter in particular, Sergeant Jackery Calloway. Sergeant Calloway from Recruiting Station, Beaumont, Texas, was the recruiter for our company honor graduate, Lance Corporal Leanna Johnson. It was Sergeant Calloway who first identified Lance Corporal Johnson's potential and offered her the opportunity to become a United States Marine. And Sergeant Calloway represents just one of dozens of Marine Corps recruiters that it took to identify all the potential you've seen come to fruition behind me. So please, join me in a round of applause for our Marine Corps recruiters who are out there every single day, ensuring our Corps is full of America's finest. And last, while the majority of recruit training takes place here aboard the depot, there's a few critical weeks that occur up in the hills of Camp Pendleton, where the instructors at Weapons and Field Training Battalion taught these Marines combat skills, field craft, and basic marksmanship, ensuring that these Marines can live up to the motto of every Marine's a rifleman. Representing Weapons and Field Training Battalion today is Corporal Nathan Egan. Corporal Egan was the primary marksmanship instructor for our platoon with the highest average score on the rifle range, platoon 3,243. Corporal, thanks for being here today, and thanks to you and your fellow instructors for all you taught these Marines. Now, when these men and women arrived here, they were young, fit, and intelligent. But above all else, they were courageous. And they demonstrated that courage the moment that they chose to raise their right hand and swore a solemn oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. 3 months ago, when they got off of those buses, and they stood on our historic yellow footprints, they embarked on a journey through the world's most demanding entry-level training. And since they've been here, they've been trained and evaluated in everything that makes a Marine unique. They've demonstrated proficiency in combat-tested warfighting skills. They've proven that they have both mental and physical toughness. They've demonstrated their exemplary character, and they've proven that as a small unit leader, they have a bias for action, and that they can decide and communicate and act within a team. And while all that is impressive, and it is, I'm actually most impressed by and proud of the commitment. The commitment that they demonstrated every single day when they woke up and they chose, made a personal conscious decision that they were going to overcome the challenges that they faced here at Recruit Training. And for that, I am truly honored and humbled to stand on this parade deck with them today as a fellow Marine. So without further ado, let me present to you the 502 newest young men and women that can now and forever claim the title of United States Marine. Now excuse me while I address the company one last time. Good morning, Marines. That's pure pride right there. Now when you go home, people are going to notice some different things about you. They're going to expect to see some unique Marine Corps quirks. You may say, yes sir, no ma'am. You may eat your chow really fast, and you may even make your bed for the first time in your entire life. But that's not actually what they're expecting to see. What they're expecting is for you to set an example. Remember, the strength of the Marine Corps has been and always will be the individual Marine. Not necessarily the individual per se, but it's the fact that all Marines, our identity and our intrinsic motivations are grounded in our core values and our warfighting spirit. When you rose to the top of the Reaper and you were handed your Eagle Globe and Anchor, you became a part of our legacy. You now represent every Marine that's come before you in the entire history of the Corps. And our legacy is yours to safeguard going forward. So be proud of what you've earned. Be proud of what you've accomplished. Be proud of what you now represent. But every single day, through your actions and your words and everything that you do, continue to prove that you remain worthy of the title. On behalf of the officers, the drill instructors, and the support staff here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, let me be the first to wish you fair winds and following seas. Congratulations, Marines. Semper Fidelis. Semper Fidelis.
Now taking their position in the reviewing area is today's parade reviewing official, the coordinator for Legacy of the Corps, retired Sergeant Major James K. Harkins, Jr. He is accompanied by the Sergeant Major of Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region, Sergeant Major Orangel A. Levy.
Shoot! Take off! Action! Good! Freeze! Form! Step! Freeze it! Short! Step! Order! Short! Order! Short! Please!
Sergeant Major James K. Harkins, Jr. enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserve with the 4th Tank Battalion in July of 1959. After graduating from Mission Bay High School, he commenced recruit training at Gulf Company, 2nd Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment, where he earned a meritorious promotion to Private First Class and chose to enter active duty. Following additional infantry training, he was assigned to Gulf Company, 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, 1st Marine Division. Demonstrating exceptional skill, he placed 3rd in the Marine Corps Infantry Squad competition and was meritoriously promoted to Lance Corporal. Sergeant Major James K. Harkins' service includes Rifleman with Gulf Company, 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, 1st Marine Division. Turnkey at the Camp Pendleton Brig, Camp Pendleton, California. Marine Security Guard and non-commissioned officer in charge at Fox Company, Marine Security Guard Battalion in Algiers, Algeria, and Monrovia, Liberia. S4 Operations Chief at 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines, 2nd Marine Division. Platoon Commander at Hotel Company, 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st Marine Division. Drill Instructor with Lima Company, 3rd Recruit Training Battalion. Infantry Skills Instructor at Landing Force Training Command Pacific. Company Gunnery Sergeant with Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines, Okinawa, Japan. Battery First Sergeant with India Battery and Headquarters Battery, 3rd Battalion, 11th Marines, 1st Marine Division. Detachment First Sergeant at Marine Detachment, USS Ranger. Battalion Sergeant Major at Amtrak Battalion, 1st Marine Division. Sergeant Major with Marine Corps Tactic Systems Support Activity. Sergeant Major Harkins served 1 deployment to the Republic of Vietnam. Sergeant Major Harkins' personal awards include the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal, Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, Combat Action Ribbon, Good Conduct Ribbon with 7 stars, National Defense Service Medal, and Presidential Unit Citation with 3 stars. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Retired Sergeant Major James K. Harkins, Jr.
Sir, the parade is formed.
Ask the commander to review.
Aye, aye, sir. Secretary. Sword. Up. And bring down. Right.
The Pass and Review is a tradition within all military units, allowing the unit commander to formally inspect the Marines under their charge. Over the entire history of the depot, Marines that have crossed this parade deck have deployed into conflicts around the world, where we have earned our trust and dependability. Places such as Guadalcanal, where Marines worked with United States soldiers to win the first offensive victory during World War II. Iwo Jima, where uncommon valor was a common virtue, and Marines raised the national flag on top of Mount Suribachi. Incheon, where Marines assaulted 3 beaches simultaneously and outflanked North Korean forces. Hue City, where Marines defeated North Vietnamese forces during the Tet Offensive. Grenada, where military members were part of Operation Urgent Fury to help stabilize the local government. Kuwait, where Marines were part of Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm and fought to liberate the country from Iraqi forces. Fallujah, where Marines surrounded the city within 24 hours to commence Operation Vigilant Resolve and take the city back from Al-Qaeda forces. Marja, where Marines worked with Afghan, British, Canadian, Danish, and Estonian forces to remove Taliban forces from the last stronghold in Helmand Province. Even now, Marines are stationed worldwide to answer the call when they are needed. This parade deck has had many legendary Marines march across it, and they have never forgotten the feeling of earning their place among our ranks. to honor our nation's colors. As the American flag passes directly in front of you, please rise. Once it passes, you may be seated. The parade leadership will now present their units to the parade reviewing official. Leading the parade is the commander of troops, First Sergeant Timothy Marlowe, and the battalion staff. Marine Band San Diego, Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego is led on the march by the drum major, Sergeant Maggie Farrick. Series 3241, Series Chief Drill Instructor, Gunnery Sergeant Mark A. Scott, and Platoon 3241, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Charlie L. Garcia. Platoon 3242, Senior Drill Instructor, Sergeant Miguel A. Jacuinde. Platoon 3243, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Nicholas Z. Padilla. The Regimental Color Guard is led on the march by the Regimental Color Sergeant, Drill Instructor, Sergeant Justin M. Hamlet. Series 3245, Series Chief Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Jordan Rivera, and Platoon 3245, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Joseph A. Chirez. Platoon 3246, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Fernando R. Zabayos. Platoon 3247, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Adrian Zulueta. As we continue today's ceremony, if you turn to page 21 of your graduation pamphlet, you will find the Marines Hymn. The Marines Hymn has a history dating back to 1859 and has a long-standing tradition for Marines to face the direction of the music and stand at attention when it is heard. It is now directed at all Marines present and who have served honorably. And ladies and gentlemen, you are all encouraged to join. Sing the words to the first verse as Marine Band San Diego performs Anchors Away, followed by the Marines Hymn. Will the guests please rise? Thank you. Please be seated.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony.
Mr. Staff.
Yes, sir.
The Marine Corps' uniqueness and strength as an elite fighting force is directly attributable to the magnificent efforts of the drill instructors and company officers who train and supervise the recruits. The distinct qualities of spirit and discipline, the heart and soul of every Marine, have been developed, nurtured, and ingrained in recruits through their observance and relationship with their drill instructors and officers. Recruit training is the very foundation of the Corps. Each year, recruit training provides thousands of America's finest young men and women with the basic knowledge and skills to function in a profession characterized by its own set of high values and tough standards. The most important thing we do in the Marine Corps is make Marines. The individual Marine is the Corps. That is what we do here. For the Marines graduating today, the long, arduous journey of the last 13 weeks is but a small step into the future of the Marine Corps. Although Lima Company prepares for their final dismissal from recruit training, their initial training is not over. Soon after graduation, they will report to the School of Infantry, where they will serve as an effective member of a Marine Rifle Squad. The intense initial training that every Marine undergoes is designed to instill the fundamental premise that every Marine is first and foremost a rifleman. And now, we would like to introduce you to the Marines responsible for ensuring the success of the difficult transition required to become a Marine. The company commander is Captain Nick Bright. The company first sergeant is First Sergeant Timothy Marlowe. Please join me in a round of applause for the company staff of Lima Company.
Folks,
The next portion of the ceremony will be the traditional function of retiring the guidons.
guys! Center! March!
The guidons have been carried by the platoons throughout recruit training and are being retired to symbolize the disbanding of platoons. All similar units in the Marine Corps carry such guidons, which identify the unit and are a source of pride to each individual member. Note that the honor of carrying these guidons is bestowed upon those Marines who displayed outstanding leadership qualities, motivation, and character, and they were selected as the Platoon Honor Graduates. The Platoon Honor Graduates compete for the title of Series and Company Honor Graduate. They are considered the top Marines graduating today and have demonstrated the highest potential for future leadership and responsibility in the Marine Corps.
Present! Ditto! Order! Ditto!
The guidons will now be returned to the drill instructors. The honor graduates will now be presented a plaque by the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Stephen J. Greenberg, and the battalion Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major Vitaly I. Kolodov.
Present! Arms! Order! Arms!
Please hold your applause until all honor graduates have been recognized. The honor graduate for platoon 3,241 and the company honor graduate is Lance Corporal Leanna G. Johnson from Raywood, Texas. Lance Corporal Johnson is also the recipient of the Chesty Puller Award for outstanding meritorious performance while in recruit training. The honor graduate for platoon 3,242 is Private First Class Jaden P. Herrera from San Antonio, Texas. The honor graduate for platoon 3,243 is Private First Class Jaden S. Nelson from Discovery Bay, California. The honor graduate for platoon 3,245 is Private First Class Gabriel T. Nunez from Cleveland, Texas. The honor graduate for platoon 3,246 is Private First Class Dylan J. Murphy from Hot Springs, Arkansas. The honor graduate for platoon 3,247 and the series honor graduate is Private Hallie David Jr. from Waukee, Iowa. Congratulations to the honor graduates of Lima Company.
Post! March! Detail! Halt! Down! Hey! Company First Sergeant! Company First Sergeant, First Sergeant. Aye, aye, sir.
The company first sergeant will now give the command to the senior drill instructors to dismiss their platoons. Needless to say, this will be the most welcome command they have received throughout recruit training.
Senior drill instructors! Dismiss your platoon! Aye, First Sergeant!
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony.